Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fluctus channel. On today's feature, we will submerge deep under the sea surface to learn about the lives of the U.S. Navy submariners. A world shared by about 5,000 officers and 55,000 sailors in the U.S. Navy. They work in a different time frame and environment than the rest of the world. Their office and living space are in any of the 68 nuclear-powered submarines, about 200 to 800 feet from the sea surface. Although the submarines are far more superior and advanced than when it was first introduced in the 18th century, it still cannot avoid the element of danger within its operation.
Agility cast off.
It takes a certain special individual and perks to accept a job where you'll be working and living in a cramped, windowless space with no sun for months on end. And what makes it more impressive is that there are volunteers within the Navy that have been tested and proven to handle the stress of the submarine life. Once submerged, a submarine can remain underwater for about 3 months, and about 140 officers and sailors share the cramped cylindrical vessel. The submariners are not only academically and technically qualified, but they are physically well-trained and tested to survive the intense pressure differential between the surface and their undersea operating level. To ensure the physical and mental wellness of the crew, submarines have shorter deployment times compared to surface vessels. The ballistic missile submarine goes for 3 months of patrol, whereas the fast attack or guided missile submarine goes for 6 months of deployment at a time. This gives the crew a much-needed break from working in the nuclear-powered vessel filled with loaded explosives. The little available space on board is designed to be multi-purpose. The officer's wardroom becomes an operation theater in medical emergencies. The torpedo room can serve as a bunk room. The crews have to navigate through the precious and scarce space on board. About 1/3 of the vessel is already taken by the nuclear reactor and propulsion. The remaining area is shared between armaments, working, and living quarters of the submarine. Every inch of the vessel is utilized, and anything taken in is meticulously calculated. The submarines are typically loaded at the point of embarkation, but so often, the submarines would resurface to be resupplied at sea. There is no space in the submarines for waste materials, so any unnecessary packaging or card boxes are removed. The crew is often supplied with enough food to last them for 90 days. There is very little space to live any sense of normalcy on board the submarines. The crew has to share the bunks they affectionately refer to as the coffins. Everything has its home, and the submarine is not a place for the messy. Even shower or bathroom period is calculated in consideration to the other fellow crew on board. When the big surface vessels are equipped with barbers and shops, the submarines would only have one washer-dryer on board to be shared between 140 crew and officers. As there's no way to tell when breakfast or dinner is to be served, the meals are rotated every few days to cater to those working in odd shift hours. But it is the true character of the voluntary Navy crew on board that makes living in the submarine peaceful. Their strong camaraderie and empathy make them understand the difficulty of others. Like a simple gesture, maintaining quietness to ensure the crew's sleeping remains undisturbed. It is considered the worst rule to break, as each of them understands what a luxury sleep is to those working in staggered shifts. The submarine life is in no way a life of comfort. It is, in fact, dangerous and hazardous. Not only working with loaded explosives or the risk of being trapped in a sunken submarine, but it has a day-to-day physical and physiological effect on its crew member. The lack of sun exposure itself deprives the crew of natural vitamin D, as well as the endorphins it helps to produce.
650.
The lack of sun, in combination with the long shift hours, affect the natural internal clock of the crew. This causes sleep deprivation, which will affect their concentration while on duty. Their daily undertaking involves maneuvering between the torrent of pipes, engines, valves, and explosives. The perpetual cramped living condition and the lack of personal space over a long period of time will eventually affect the crew's psyche.
Down, scroll around. Watch the deck.
The glimpse of sun rays may bring a brief moment of joy to the crew, but this, however, may not be enough to allow them to communicate with their dear ones. They simply have very limited contact with home. While they may be able to send emails or make a call when they're in port, the same is simply unachievable when you're in and under the sea. And even if they can communicate, they won't be able to divulge too many details, as it may affect the mission they're in. The physical and mental pressure of the submarine life is not for the faint-hearted. To the submariner, their daily life and work bring with it a certain degree of risk and danger. Their responsibility requires their dedication and undivided concentration. Despite the unforgiving condition, the submariners still undertake the challenge with professionalism and pride. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.